Hey guys, welcome to my new drawing tutorial on sketching dynamic poses. Now before I get into all the good stuff, usually what I like to do as a little warm-up is I like to just sketch a basic standing pose as shown here, just so I can get a sense of the anatomy, because when you're drawing the figure in action poses, you gotta know how the anatomy looks from different angles, or from different sides. Or if you're using foreshortening, you gotta know, obviously, how the angles work there. So if you notice here, what I did was I just started with a basic line of action going down the middle of the body. Then I roughed in the head, the shoulder line, 2 circles to represent the shoulders, and then I basically just worked my way down from the torso to the hips, and then the legs, feet, and I threw in the arms last. And now this will get me prepared to draw some cool poses here. Alright, now here I'm roughing out a dynamic female action pose. For me, it took a very long time to really grasp the concept of the female body, because when I used to sketch the female figure, they would always come out too muscular, or it would end up looking too much like the male figure. So it's just a totally different dynamic, and it takes a lot of practice and patience to really get the hang of it. And I'm still improving myself, but compared to where I was just a year ago or 2 years ago, I've made a lot of progress. And progress comes with time, patience, persistence, and, effort and just practice. Really is what it boils down to. Alright, so here I'm going to sketch another action pose. This is going to be the male figure, kind of in that sort of position where maybe he just landed and he's got his front arm down in front of him to sort of catch his balance. This is always one of my favorite poses to sketch out. It's just very dynamic, and it really tests your skills on, twisting the torso, because obviously his hips are facing front, but his torso is obviously rotated, so that way that extended arm can come down to touch the ground. And now over here, I'm just sketching out another standing pose, the female this time. Just so, like I said before with the male figure, I do this just so I can get a better sense of the anatomy, because obviously when you're sketching poses in different action positions, you obviously have to know what the anatomy looks like from different angles, or for example, foreshortening, like the pose in the middle where the female figure is sort of, punching forward. That back leg that's extended, it's obviously going to be smaller than the leg that's coming forward because of foreshortening. And that's also something that takes a little bit of practice to get the hang of, is knowing how to use foreshortening effectively. Like, for example, if you have a pose where the figure is coming directly at the viewer, like maybe throwing a punch forward or something like that, obviously their upper body is going to be much larger than the lower body and then the legs. And down here, I'm now sketching out another pose where the figure, he's kind of in like a running position, or like he's about to take a leap forward. And another thing that it took me a little while to get better at is drawing the figure from the rear, or like drawing back muscles, for example. But basically, it all just comes with, comes with practice and time. And one thing I like to do is I like to look at a lot of reference photos. One website that I always recommend to people is called quickposes.com. It's got dozens and dozens of different reference photos of the male and female figure in, an unlimited number of different positions, so using those to practice will allow you to get better. So eventually, you can actually draw these poses from memory, which is what I'm doing here, because I've obviously done these so many times, and I have a very good understanding of anatomy that I can basically just think of the pose in my head, and then I can, translate it to the tablet. Or if you're drawing traditionally, translate it to a piece of paper. Whatever you prefer, though. And now over here on the right, I'm going to do one more action pose where we have the figure. She's, imagine her, firing some sort of energy blast from her hands or something like that, whatever superpower she might have. So this is another pose that I really enjoy drawing a lot of the time. Alright guys, I hope this helped. I hope it gave you a sense of how I think and how I sketch these poses in a more simplified way. And like I said, just keep practicing these over and over again and you will get better over time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'm looking forward to putting together the next tutorial. Thanks guys, see you next time.